This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the medical advice of physicians. The listener should regularly consult a physician in matters relating to their health, and particularly with respect to any symptoms that may require diagnosis or medical attention. Thank you and enjoy listening. Welcome to Difficult Conversations About Beauty with me, Anita East. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to be interviewing one of my bestest friends, Catherine Lister. Now, Catherine has a very similar background to me. She's a fellow performer, actor, and writer. And the thing I love most about Catherine is that when she turned 50, which was last year, she seemed to just absolutely revel in her skin. And I wanted to speak to her so we could get as much advice as possible from her as to how she manages to present so beautifully to the world day in, day out. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for coming here today. I am so delighted to have you to Difficult Conversations About Beauty. Wow, it's awesome. It's awesome. You're one of my kind of, okay, so you're one of my closest, bestest friends in the world. I absolutely adore you. But you're also one of these women who, when I look at you, and that's why I asked you on the podcast, when I look at you, I feel like you've got all your shit together, kind of, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look amazing all the time, and you've got this beautiful personality that comes with it. And I just wanted to, as part of our chatting with women through the ages, so talking about beauty through the ages, I wanted to chat with you about how you feel about beauty. So unfiltered, how you feel about beauty, in particular your beauty.
Oh, Anita, thank you very much. And I'm so glad you think it looks like I've got my shit together, because we both know that's absolute fallacy.
You did. I said looks.
Oh, look, yes, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. It's that duck analogy, isn't it? On the surface, everything looks calm, but I'm paddling like mad beneath the water. I'm so delighted to talk to you, because you are also one of my closest friends, and I love and adore you. And it's absolutely fabulous to talk to you about something that I know you're such an expert in, and I'm sure I'll learn a lot just through talking to you today. Anyway. I'll tell you a little bit about myself.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
So I turned 50 last year. I'm the mother of a 9, soon-to-be 10-year-old girl who is the apple of my eye. Married for, nearly 20 years now, which is alarming and wonderful in equal measure. And my background is quite varied. So I started off working in performing arts as an actor, and I did that for many years. I travelled around through Southeast Asia and the States, and also the UK, doing acting in various ways, primarily doing Shakespeare and primarily on stage. And then I moved into working in, strangely, I took a leap into foreign direct investment. I don't know how that happened. And now I'm working in comms and engagement. So communication's been a theme throughout. I love talking to people. I love learning about people, and I love basically talking with people. And I'm constantly amazed and astounded by the world, which I think is a good way to be at any age.
By the craziness of the human race.
By the craziness of the human race, indeed.
Excellent. And I love that we have that in common. We have such a common thread in our history, don't we, in terms of our acting and performing. And then kind of you've gone into communications. I'd always done healthcare and that kind of thing. So it's fascinating. But our love is still, we quite often joke and kind of, well, it's not actually joking. We will do it very, very soon about putting together our own
right vehicle.
That's right. Putting together our own kind of performances in terms of, live shows and all the rest of it, podcasts and things like that. Catherine is also a writer as well as all the other things that she does. So, and she used to run courses at the Queensland Writers Centre, which I think is absolutely astounding, because
many moons
her use of vocab far eclipses mine. So I'm regularly in awe. So I think okay, so you mentioned when you talked then about you that you turned 50 last year.
Yes.
Which, how did that feel? How was that in the lead up to?
It was quite exciting, actually. I think that I come from a family where we tend to die quite young, which is a bit morbid to say, but
It's truth.
I lost my mum. Yeah, I lost my mum at 57. My father passed away at 36.
Oh,
And there's
darling.
not a lot of longevity in my family. Like I can think of, a couple of 80-year-olds and one 90-year-old, but
Yeah.
primarily people tend to leave us in their 50s.
Mm.
So I think I look at aging potentially a bit differently than a lot of people because I have that feeling that every year is a gift. So
Oh, yes.
I don't begrudge aging. I think it's a pleasure and I kind of treasure it. I wouldn't mind looking like I still did at 30, but every year that passes, I'm just really very, very thankful for.
Yeah, what an awesome way to look at getting older. Like you said, it's a privilege that many don't ever get to realize. And so we are very lucky.
100%.
Do you know, I think that's so true because it's the mindset, isn't it? When you're hitting these, I see a lot of women and they might be coming up to a birthday of 30 or a birthday of 40. But I can guarantee you that most of the women I speak to are most scared and upset about turning 50. And I don't ever know what it is. I'm not yet 50, but I don't yet know what it is. But I think the embracing, oh my gosh, how lucky am I to be here and to have had 50 years worth of incredible experiences. Yes, not all of them will have been great. In fact, quite a lot of them will not have been great, but they've led you. We have to have the peaks and the troughs in life. But I wonder, I think that's fascinating that your mindset is different than I'd say 90% of the women that I see.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, Anita, is I think 50, even though a lot of us aren't lucky enough to make it to 100, but it's kind of like I think people see it as the halfway
Yes.
point. And I guess middle age, if we're being like completely accurate, kind of starts at 40 because most people will probably get to 80 or thereabouts. But 50 feels like proper middle age. So I think it's when people start to get they start to view themselves not as growing up, but growing out.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And I think that scares a lot of people.
Yes. And I do wonder if perhaps if people who haven't got to where they feel like they should be at 50.
Yes.
Are sat there going, oh my gosh, I've lost the opportunity to do so. I do know that a lot of women who, and I love the fact that you work in a very corporate world.
Yes, I do.
And you regularly travel, you regularly have big meetings with lots of different people. And a lot of women find that I speak to find that they, at the age of 50 or on the cusp of 50, they get overlooked for younger women.
I'm in an industry and I work for a company that embraces women of all ages and values our thoughts and opinions and the wisdom that comes with age. And I'm very, very lucky for that. Having said that, I do sometimes feel my age the most at work because I tend to socialize with people around my own age outside of work. And, most of my friends are around my age. Whereas at work, I work with a lot of people who are under 30 or, very early 30s. And I do, having said that, there are a lot of people my age as well or around my age in the workplace. But I do tend to sometimes feel my age a bit more at work than I do anywhere else. And I think that's because I'm regularly around much younger people. I'm old enough to be their mother in a lot of instances. But I feel like I still have and I know I have a lot to offer them with my knowledge and my experience, etc. So I don't feel less at work because I'm young, I'm older. I feel a bit more if that makes sense. I feel like
Oh, wow.
I can nurture and support and help a lot of the younger people in the workplace,
Yeah,
which is
wow. Oh,
nice.
that's amazing, and absolutely how we should feel when we get to any age. You know, the older we get in a workplace, we shouldn't be devalued. We should be
Yeah,
valued more for our skill, our ability, our experience. And that,
yeah,
I think that's testament, like you said, to the company that you work for. And I do hope that there's lots of, you know, that companies out there are certainly starting to realize how beneficial having people that are older and not going, oh, look, you know, we're going for the youngest person, or the, you know, the young gun who's got all the energy and all the big ideas, whereas, you know, quite often they don't follow through and don't have the confidence or experience to carry it through. So
yes,
that's,
agreed,
yeah,
agreed.
and that's great because obviously and I think that comes down to how you present yourself and how you embrace your beauty and the way that you look. Because certainly the women that I am referring to, they struggle in terms of, uh, they generally say, oh, she's younger than me and she's more beautiful than me. So it's definitely a case of pitching yourself, yes, against age, but thinking, oh, they're actually prettier or more beautiful than me. I've got wrinkles now, I've got this now, things are starting to sag, therefore I'm less than. But whether or not it's that people are telling us that, or we're just feeling that way and
Yeah.
therefore kind of sheltering ourselves a little bit.
And I think, Anita, as well, I think when I was younger, I compared myself a lot more to everyone. Now I kind of see a beautiful young girl and I kind of rejoice in that a little bit.
So
Like
do
I'm like,
I.
oh, she's
I
beautiful,
know.
which is,
I
we're
know.
human beings. We love things of beauty, be it a
Yes.
house, be it a sunset, be it a nice frock. We love things that are beautiful. So I'm trying now. I don't feel the envy I may have felt 20 years ago. I
Mm.
just feel kind of really happy I get to look at someone lovely.
Isn't that wonderful? And then
Kind
that
of pervy,
really,
pervy
no,
old
but
lady way.
oh,
Just to, isn't she beautiful? And just
yes.
appreciating someone. Yeah.
Yes, I feel exactly the same when I go out, and we've done this together. When we go out and we see someone beautiful, you know, a younger woman, and we're like, oh, look at her, isn't she beautiful? And we'll often say, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful. And I think that's so important. And we are both the mothers of girls, so it's
Yes.
so important that we don't compete, and that we also demonstrate to all women, but younger women especially, that it's not a competition. Everyone is unique in their own beauty, so therefore everyone should be, like you said, rejoiced in their
Yes.
beauty. So it's kind of definitely you're really embracing your role as the queen, aren't you? Like, in terms of what I referred to in my book, in terms of queens and princesses, you're really nurturing in the way that you view younger women. You're nurturing your queendom and allowing them to be princesses, and you're helping to uh, nurture and grow them while feeling safe with someone like you. So I think that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just beautiful, and that really shows in your presence in a situation as well, in a social situation. It very much feels that way. So that's lovely. I
Oh,
love
thank
that.
you.
So
I love how you talk about queens and princesses in your book. It's one of my favorite sections. So I'm glad that I'm embracing queendom as I should.
yes, yes, absolutely, pure royalty right here. So I would love to know what, at 50, what
Mhm.
makes you happy now that you wouldn't have assumed 10, 20 years ago would make you happy? So is there something that you do now that 20 years ago you would have gone, there's no way that doing that would make me happy, or feeling that would make me happy?
You're going to laugh, but it's Pilates
I knew you'd
because
say that.
did you?
I did. As soon as I asked it, I thought it'll either be reading or Pilates, but she's always loved reading. So
Yeah.
tell me about Pilates.
Well, I think when I was younger, like in my 20s, 30s, I used to exercise really hard, and
Mm.
I had to be perfect. So I did the boot camps, and I did the CrossFit, and I pushed myself really, really hard, and I was always injured, but I always wanted to look fabulous. It was always my goal to look fabulous naked. Now I'm like, if I put clothes on and I look good, then that's great.
Oh my
But
gosh, I love that. Look fabulous naked. Were you a
yes, I
burlesque
just wanted to.
dancer or?
Well,
Yeah, that's
so that
that
was my
that
goal.
was meant to be a rhetorical question, but I know the truth. So enough of that. Okay.
So but now I really like, I love Pilates. I would have mocked people who did Pilates for exercise. In fact, I did
Yes.
used to mock people. I think that's not exercise. You're just stretching and bending. How can that possibly be exercise? But it's really hard,
Yeah.
and I've done it. I think I'm quite good at it now,
I would
and
say you're very good at it.
and I feel really strong. And I
Mm,
never thought I would rejoice in feeling strong. To me, it was always more important that I looked good than it was than I felt good. But I
mm,
feel really good now. And it doesn't matter if I'm bulking up or whatever, because I'm strong. I can move stuff, I can lift
yeah.
stuff, I can, my core's really strong. I sit better, I stand better, I walk better. I just feel as though I found something that is just for me, that's really challenging and that I really enjoy and that I
Mm.
don't injure myself doing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So very
in a
much
win.
it's more important the way that you feel than so your goal is to feel better. So for your mental health, and as opposed to I'm doing this because it will make me look better. So I'm not starving myself. I'm not just doing exercise on my the interview I did with the 19-year-old Georgia. She was talking about, that a lot of girls are going to the gym 6-7 times a week purely to work out to get tiny waists and big booties. Whereas
Yes.
I think when we get to our age, we kind of go, you know what, it is about feeling strong. It's about feeling healthy in our bodies as opposed to going, oh, look, great, I've got the tape measure out and my waist is this, or I've stepped on the scales and I've lost how much
Yeah.
weight.
And I'm so glad, Anita, that at my age, I don't care what is fashionable in terms of the body. I remember when I was young, no one wanted to have a big butt. Like it
No.
was does my bum look big in this? And the
Yes.
answer was no, no, no. And now
No.
if you say no to people, they're wounded terribly.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that I'm glad that I'm of an age where I don't need to think about what's trendy in terms of body.
Mm, mm,
I just think
mm.
it's a bit crazy, but
And did that happen gradually, or did that happen as you approached 50, or when did that sense of ease in self kind of?
it definitely happened with age. Like I didn't
Mm,
feel I was so much more critical of myself when I was younger. I'd stand in the mirror and I'd pick apart everything, and now I'm just glad to be upright, walking around with a bright lippy on and feeling strong. So I think, and this was, I went to Wet and Wild the other day, and I hadn't been to Wet and Wild for many, many moons. And I remember the last time I went to Wet and Wild, I was probably in my 30s, and I remember wearing a bikini to Wet and Wild, and every time I got to the bottom of the slide, I was pushing a boob back in or pulling my,
a cheek
swimsuit
out.
side, and quickly coming up so that my hair wasn't in my face, and doing my best Daryl Hannah
Oh,
impersonation,
yes.
and also I got scrapes down my spine because from wearing precious little
Mm,
on a water slide. And then when we went the other week, I wore a rash shirt and a pair of shorts, and I had the time of my life.
yeah, wow.
I felt so
Wow.
bad for all these girls walking around in the bikinis, and I don't know where swimsuit bottoms have gone. They're
I
just
I
seem to have
actually
vanished.
think I actually think that there's rats in every single manufacturing's, warehouse, and they literally just come in and nobody's actually noticed, but they're coming in, they're just nibbling away at the bottom bit, and they're just sending the things out, and the girls are going, oh well, that's obviously, the thing. I mean, honestly, I'm sat here now and my underpants have ridden up my bottom, and I'm wondering how I can actually pull them out,
Hate them.
strategically, but quite femininely as well
Lee.
and elegantly. So I don't know where they've gone either, but
I
it's
don't, and I did think as I was walking around, I thought, you know, I don't know whether to rejoice at the body positivity or
yeah.
just pray that trend will die out before our daughters reach
Mm,
15, 16.
yes,
But
yes.
but I think I
When
think
their fathers will have heart
oh,
attacks.
can you imagine?
Our
Can you
husbands will have
imagine
heart
our
attacks. Yeah.
husband? So I but I did think as I was walking around, I was thinking, are you having fun though? Are you
Mm,
riding the rides? Are you having fun? Are you hurting your spines? Did I
mm,
have fun? I didn't have as much
mm.
fun going to Wet n Wild when I was 30 as I did a couple
The
of
other
weekends ago.
day.
And I could just ride
Mm,
everything, not be thinking about myself all the time. And I think that's a nice thing about getting older. You're not thinking about yourself all the time and the way that you
yeah.
present in the world, and it
Yeah.
opens your eyes to so many other things. If I had the time I spent worrying that my thighs were too big, or my that I was too pale, all the things that the times I spent putting on fake tan and
Mm.
stinking like a biscuit and waiting till I dried, all of that time and energy, if I could have only put that into doing something
Something
else,
else. I
right?
know. But you had
Something
to,
more fulfilling.
I suppose we have to go through those things to get to the other side and work out as a result of those, neural pathways and those thoughts come out and go, actually, this is what really matters. And it's really interesting because I'm 48 and and I don't know that it is because I'm heading close to 50. I don't know, but I'm feeling like I'm looking at my body and I'm not happy with the fact that I had two babies and I didn't get a saggy tummy. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm so lucky. And then I swear, while I was looking at my tummy in the mirror last year, it just went and all the collagen and elastin just disappeared like someone had pulled a thread. And before my very eyes, like it felt like it happened overnight. And I used to be able to still wear bikinis and things and now I've got to the point because my skin has changed and it's caught up to what it should be. It absolutely at my age, I've lost collagen, my estrogen levels are declining. Thank you, perimenopause.
Hurrah.
All of those things, and it's kind of like it feels, and I'm starting to feel like the women that I see in my clinic who are, I don't know what happened, but it just happened overnight. I got this, my eyes got heavier, my jowls got bigger, my neck got saggier. What has happened? And I love the fact that I'm in talking to you that doesn't, it doesn't come across when I'm with you personally. It doesn't come across any kind of fear or self-consciousness in your body or the way you look. And I love that. I just wonder how I and all the other women can, like, what would you say to someone like me or to other women who are looking at the different parts of their body, their face, and picking it apart and going, I never used to have that and now I've got this, or I don't like the way I'm looking. Is there something that you'd say to us?
I still do it sometimes. Like, I don't always like what I see in the mirror, but I think that my mindset now is that I just look for other things to feel happy about. And I do embrace the fact that I do feel strong and that I'm energized and that I've got a lovely family. Like, it's about gratitude, I think,
Yeah.
Anita, at the end of
Yeah.
the day. It's about looking for things to be thankful for. And I don't, I think the difference for me is that I did spend so much time picking myself apart in my 20s and my 30s and even into my early 40s. And I just stopped. I just stopped. I just thought, I remember the day I kind of knew I was old, and I went to a bar. And when I was in like my 20s and 30s, I never really waited at a bar. I just kind of went up to the bar and I knew I'd get served really soon by, and I infrequently bought my own drinks. Like, it was just
Mm.
lovely. But then as I got to 30s and 40s, even like late 30s, early 40s, I remember going to a bar in Cornwall with a couple of friends of mine. And I remember going to the bar, and the bartender was flirting with these younger girls at the bar. And I literally stood there and thought, oh my God, he just doesn't see me.
Oh,
And I
honey.
was like waving my money around
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
flag and desperately trying to get served. It wasn't particularly busy, but he just didn't see me. And I thought, okay, that's happened. That thing that people talk about
Yes.
where they kind of become invisible. But then
Mm.
I was thinking later and I thought, well, who do I want to be visible to? I don't want to be visible to a 25-year-old guy serving in a bar in Cornwall. I want to be visible to my friends, to my family, to the people that I care about, to the people that I admire. So they're the people that I want to be visible to, and I want to be
Mm.
my best self with. And I think that I don't I've just stopped picking myself apart as much as I used to, because I made a conscious decision to be around people that make me feel beautiful
Yeah.
because I love them and I enjoy being with them.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I don't know whether that's too simplistic.
No, no, no. So what I'm hearing is that you moved the goalposts, you changed your expectations of yourself. Just you didn't lower them, you just moved them. You just moved
Yeah.
them over and went, actually, that's not that important to me. What is important, like you said, is being with people who make me feel great, is and make me feel loved. That's what's
Mm-hmm.
important. And those people see me. I don't need to be seen by others who don't have
Yeah.
any stake in my life. So
100%, 100%. Apart from getting me a drink in a timely fashion, I really
yeah.
didn't,
Well,
didn't need him to see me.
to be fair, when you're parched, one does need a drink, and that's that's poor that's poor work, kind of barmanship on his part in
And
terms of, isn't it? So
I loathe a bad bartender,
yes, I
Anita.
do, darling. I do, because yes, you are like the most amazing. I would have loved to have been served at a bar. So Catherine worked at a bar, or multiple
Like all
bars.
actors. I
I,
worked
I've
in
never,
so
I've
many
never, and
bars.
I never worked in a bar. No,
No.
because I worked in emergency department instead. So I looked after them
Oh,
after you'd served them in the bar. I
I
looked after
sent them.
them,
I should have
yeah,
just sent them direct to you
straight
after.
straight to the emergency department, where I'd look after them when they were had been in the fight or slipped down the stairs or done whatever they'd done because they'd had too many of your delicious drinks.
My fabulous cocktails.
You're
Or the
fabulous.
buckets I used to serve at St. Paul's Tavern, where
Oh
people
my
would come and get
goodness. I
three
love it.
dollar bucket full of alcohol.
Oh
Goodness me.
my. Oh, that's
That was before
frightening.
responsible drinking laws came into
Thank
fashion.
thank Lord for that. Thank Lord for that.
Heavens
So
they did.
so in that fashion, then, would you say that when you see a beautiful picture on your phone as of a celebrity or someone like that, filtered or not, no doubt filtered because they're all filtered, um, does it make you feel less than, or do you go? Can you look at it and go, that's completely filtered and not real, or
I love looking at I do just think most of them are filtered, or they're
yeah,
just very, beautiful and lucky. But I don't, I like looking at pictures of people a bit closer to my own age. Like I love
yes,
seeing Helen Mirren looking
yes,
fabulous, or,
yes,
if someone, Meryl, or, Jane Fonda.
yes.
I love seeing, and there was a film recently with Jane Fonda where she played this kind of overweight, frumpier version of herself and then turned into this glamazon halfway through it. And it was just, I like seeing people that are a bit closer to my own age, and
Mm,
I'm not,
mm,
and I don't compare anymore. I'm
mm,
I'm so
mm.
far removed from ever being Charlotte Johansson or
Yes.
Margot Robbie, or that's so, I'm so far removed from that orbit that I don't I just kind of think that they look wonderful,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. You can
enjoy their
appreciate that.
talent.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And so, okay, so do you know what your unique facial feature is? And is it something that is important to you in terms of being your mainstay throughout your throughout your life, knowing something about you that is most beautiful, and therefore going, oh, I've got this thing, I've got this little secret, and I've got this thing, and that's my unique facial feature?
I think I have talked to you a little bit about this before, Anita, because I used to think it was my jaw, but I think as that gradually slips into my neck, I might, I might have to revise what my unique facial feature is. Um, I, I think I've got a decent smile. I think I've got
Yeah.
a smile that's genuine.
And it's
And that
interesting because your unique facial feature is always tied in with your personality. And your personality is so vivacious and giving and kind, and it's very much, and that's why I've always said to you, so I've always told Catherine that what's most unique about her face is this lower part of her face, which is just so beautiful. And regardless of when it slips down, that doesn't make any difference to the fact that you've got the bony structure underneath, which is so stunning. So that will never change. The bony structure may become a little bit smaller, but in terms of bone resorption and so forth, but that's what's most beautiful. And I think when women understand what is beautiful about their face, they don't have to then turn around and go, they're not kind of lost. They're not grappling to find something to be happy about their own beauty. And the other thing is they're not going to a clinician, for example, who's just saying, oh yeah, we'll just separate your face into different facial features and treat them all into to an inch of their life kind of thing. So making, separating them out, the lips to the jaw, to the chin, to the cheeks, to the temple, to the forehead, and so forth. So when you know what your unique facial feature is, you're there going, well, I've actually got this thing that's beautiful about me, so I can feel comfortable in my skin. So
yes.
have you noticed?
I love the idea of the unique facial feature, and I love that term that you've coined, Anita, and made your own. It's 100% true, and I look for it now in people.
Yes.
And I love seeing it. And it's so obvious to me what, especially my friends, it's very obvious to me what their unique facial feature is, and it's often the thing that draws you to people without you even knowing why you're drawn to them.
Absolutely.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, because what happens is, of course, if people go and have so much done that their unique facial feature or their lead actor is no longer their lead actor, they're no longer as attractive because they've lost the thing, like you said, that is actually what draws you to them in the first place. So
I 100% agree with you. And I sometimes look at celebrities and they've just had like everything done, the lips done, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, things I don't even know exist, they've had done to themselves. And it's like they don't look real anymore. They often look a lot older, I think, than they actually are. Like, 20-year-olds suddenly look like 35-year-olds. And I think that the things that are special about us oftentimes are the things that people want to change as well. Have you found that?
Absolutely. So if someone's got a little kind of, a little dint in their chin, or their chin does this a little bit, or they've got dimples, or they've got, one side of their eye goes down a little bit, the other one doesn't.
Yes.
Then clinicians quite often say, oh, we need to fix that. We need to perfect that. We need to get rid of that line. We need to, fix those little dimples and so forth. We can't have that. We can't have a lopsided, whereas the lopsided eyebrows or something, the lopsided eyelids or whatever it is, cheek slightly lower on one side than the other, is what's actually most beautiful about them, and it's what they've had since they were born. So we very much have to be super careful. So in terms of only ever treating what is detracting from the unique facial feature, as opposed to trying to make other features the lead actor. Now, we've not got much time left and I could chat for hours, but I did want to ask you what your perfect day would entail.
Well, obviously Pilates would feature.
Yes.
I think waking up early, I always look at my inspiration cards that you've provided.
Oh my God, you darling, I adore you.
Every morning. And I try and keep that message with me for the day. Have a really nice breakfast, usually avocado on toast, because I'm a creature of habit. get my daughter off to school in a calm and loving way without searching the house screeching about socks and shoes. And then if it's like a work day, I just have a really nice, fulfilling day at work, chatting with lovely colleagues and then come home to a lovely dinner with my husband. If it's the weekend, friends feature, definitely. Lovely, lunches with friends, a nice long walk, being out we live in a beautiful part of the world. We're very lucky. So being out in the world, just enjoying the day.
Mm.
I find pleasure in lots of different ways, Anita, and I think that generally every day I find at least something to smile about.
Oh,
So
and I think
always
that's,
start with a card from your wonderful self.
oh, bless you. That's so cool. I love that. The affirmation cards. I chose one
Yeah.
today and it was space. And I love that. It's about giving space, giving something time to breathe
Oh, I
when
love
you feel
that.
like you need that. And then the answer will always come because we're so much about, getting stuff done, hustle, hustle, hustle. Whereas space, and like you said, being out in nature allows you, there's no hurry. The trees aren't hurrying to grow, the rain's not hurrying to fall, the sun's not hurrying to be, come in and then go out. It's very much about finding the joy in the little things and relishing in how that can inform our day. Hey,
Couldn't agree more.
my
Absolutely.
darling, I have loved talking to you and I can't wait to see you in a couple of hours.
Hey.
Thank you again for listening to Difficult Conversations about Beauty, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Remember, everything that we talk about in these sessions is not intended as a substitute for the medical advice of physicians. So every listener should regularly consult a physician in matters relating to their health and particularly with respect to any symptoms that may require diagnosis or medical attention. Oh, and I'm actually not 48. I'm 47. I have no idea how I can get my age wrong when it's so important. But have a wonderful day. Bye.